We have Rachel. She's an aspiring restaurateur who absolutely loves the restaurant industry. She is a classical orchestral music enthusiast, and she dedicates her Ignite talk today to her 140-pound dog, Jack. So let's hear it for Rachel Cusumano. Woo-hoo!
Let's start with the game. I'm going to describe three very different people, and upon description, I want you to imagine each person, who they are, what stereotypes they provoke. First, we see person A, who grew up in the world of education and classical music. Their 9-to-5 pursuit was something of an expectation. Articulate, well-mannered, even a frequent Dean's List recipient. So next we see person B, a love for the restaurant industry. They've developed 2 separate restaurants from conception to implementation. Line cook, server, manager, their love fuels them. And lastly, we come to person C, who is textbook defined mentally ill, in and out of psych wards since age 12, bipolar, psychosis, PTSD. They're scared they're nothing beyond permanent disability, maybe destined to die. I've just described 3 seemingly different people, the scholar, the worker, the mentally ill. And you have your images different for all 3, but here's a secret. All of them are me. So I'm sure you have your expectations, the story I'm going to tell, an arc in which the sufferer hits a rock bottom to realize they need help. They get that help to climb the recovery ladder, and then they're suddenly cured. Success then proceeds. Well, that's not my narrative. In fact, it would be the worst trope I could portray today, because recovery is a journey, not a one-time act. You never recover. You are always recovering. Just as ingredients are to a recipe, mental illness is part of me. Raw garlic may be off-putting in its natural state, but without its influence, dishes are tasteless. Mental illness may just be my raw garlic, because it's been with me throughout the most conventional of successes, my main driver, in fact, obsessively collecting accomplishments, achievements, as if doing everything can make up for the fact that I feel like nothing. Though I am lucky. The manic episodes I have, they manifest in the most socially acceptable form of crazy that there is. Hyper-productivity. And with its fuel, I've lined the glorified resume. Though, more than just increased work capacity, it's an indescribable state of bliss. No need to eat, no need to sleep. You're a pair of wings short of flying. You are invincible. And that excessive working, not eating, not sleeping, it's all applauded because it's productive. And our society tells us that productivity should be prioritized at the expense of our own health. But then comes the crash, and you crash so hard. You can no longer sustain that work at all. And it fuels even more depression, because when you put your self-worth into productivity, you are nothing if no longer able to produce. Unfortunately, I had to go through that cycle far too many times before I accepted my condition as truth. But only in acceptance could I find recovery. If we don't accept that there's a problem, we can never accept there's a solution to such problem. So came recovery, and it's really hard. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to relearn how to live again, how to prioritize your health. The bad days inevitably accompany the good, and you painfully learn. Recovery is not linear. There's no finish line. There's no defining moment I can impart on you in which I said, I'm all better now. I still struggle. There are some days getting out of bed is harder than opening up a restaurant. Though, not all moments are for me alone. 3 years ago was my last suicide attempt, and in and out of consciousness, I saw my dad cry for the first and only time, and it was that very moment I vowed to never again attempt suicide. Yes, I've struggled so hard, hospitalized 3 times since then, psychosis, suicidal thoughts, and though it's not on my resume, I am so proud to say I have met that promise, and it fuels me every day. So no, I am not a tragedy. This is not a sob story, because it's also your story. We all go through challenges. Though not always responsible for their circumstances, we are so for its handling. If we go back to our game person A, B, and C, we see our scholar, our worker, and our survivor. Re-examine those expectations and break them, because the characters found in all three are found in all of you, not just me.